There's a great book called Talent is Overrated. And the author of it takes the look at Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours things. And he goes, yeah, but it's a great thing of like, you can do 10,000 hours and still suck ass at something.
Well, first of all, 10,000 hours means it's very misleading because you have to be practicing the right way.
That's what this book is
You get
about.
really good at the wrong thing,
Yeah.
if you're not careful. So
Well, even if you're doing 10,000 hours, but it's something you're not good at.
right,
Yeah,
I mean,
that-
Do 30,000. It doesn't matter.
This book is, I recommend it for everybody. It's a super fucking dry read, but it's really great because what he does is he does that exact thing where he talks about applied practice.
It's a great book.
Yeah, you have to basically practice the thing that you suck at until it's great to just boost your whole game.
So that's where he's saying where
he breaks
it's not a talent
Yes,
thing?
so he'll break up practice like this. So the difference between say regional swimmers and Olympic swimmers is actually not time in the pool, and it's not even so much talent a lot of times. What it is that when you have an amazing coach, that coach will say to you, okay, today your hand is coming out, your elbow is coming out this high. I need your elbow this high.
Yeah.
So it's
So
being
for a
effective.
week they'll only practice that.
Yeah.
And so Roger Federer. So they
That
always
would be the coaching more than anything.
He's the coaching. So Roger Federer. So they think Roger Federer practices an hour and a half a day. Now the way but even back in the day, one of the reasons a lot of these guys, because see, it's and probably know this, but you can practice 6 hours a day, then you start getting injured.
Yeah.
So you have a limited amount of
Overtraining,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. So you have a limited time. So what they'll do now, especially with tennis, which is a lot of physical, is they have you. They're very fucking specific, about, and then the rest is just timing.
Yeah.
Keeping your timing where it is and everything else, so that
Talent is overrated.
And he kind of goes through like he goes through Jerry Rice. He has a chapter on Jerry Rice about how Jerry Rice
the fastest,
but he would run those hills because he wanted to stay fresh in the fourth quarter. He would have those hand grasp
Catch
things,
bricks and stuff.
people would be like, "Why are you doing that?" He would always walk around like that. He's like, "So I can take the ball away from people that don't have as strong as hands because people aren't working their hands."
That's an
out.
obsession.
It's an obsession, and
So
it's like
Brady's that way apparently with his training.
and that's where it is. Like Tiger Woods was another.
So
chapter.
they're saying just outworking?
They're saying
working the right
work
way,
smarter.
not work smarter?
So saying like work on like after I read that book, I was like, all right, I don't sit down and write jokes well. So let me do that until I'm better at sitting down and writing jokes.
How were you doing it?
I was just, I would riff something and then I would write down like a line and then I'd go on
bullet
stage.
points? Yeah.
But then you go on stage and the only time you're working on it is when you're on stage, which can be highly effective. But then I was like, well, what's my weakness? And that's sitting down and writing out the jokes. Because I would hang out with people like Sam Morrill, who's like unbelievable. So funny. But also can sit down and be like, bop, 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 bop. And you're like, I can't pull from that. I can't. I would do it and I'd be like, this doesn't feel right. But then you sit in it and you do it enough and then you start.
It's like deep practice. They do that with musicians. So like world-class violinists, world-class piano players. They will, you have to work on what you're bad at.
Yeah.
You're great. Oh, great. You can do all that. And then they make you do these weird things with your left hand that hurt your hand. But that's where they go, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're not doing it. So they'll just do that. So you focus on what you're bad at.
That's also where people.
It's funny you say about stand-up though, because I was sitting around thinking about metaphors. Like I'm not as good at coming up with metaphors.
Yeah.
So I've been doing exactly that. Just sitting down and kind of going the next step. You ask the next question.
Yeah.
Right? Writing wise.
Did you read the book?
Yeah, it's a great.
Yeah, and you have to fail a lot at it to kind of, then you start getting better, and then when you get that little bit of progression, you're like, oh shit, I can do this.
Yeah.
Now I can, and then it gets you hyped to be like, let me do it more. And that's why I think the danger of when comics get super successful is they start getting insulated by people that don't be like, hey, your left hand's off. You know what I mean? Like a musician, when they blow up, they're like, everything you play is perfect.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, man, you still have weaknesses. So I think that's like important when you see comics and they're like, why are they not funny anymore? And it's like, well, because they
lost their edge though.
But they're also keeping people around them that are like, man, you're so funny. As opposed to be like, I live with Mike Vecchione, who's like,
he's fucking funny.
Funny as fuck.
I just saw him in New York. I'm with Dove and Vecchione's up on stage. And I go, and I'm watching him, and Doug, let's go back there. I go, hold on, I gotta watch Vecchione.
Yeah.
He fucking kills me.
Dude, he is, I mean, when I say
He's your roommate?
he's my roommate. He's an airtight comedian.
Oh.
Airtight comedian.
Big, like an Italian kid.
Looks like a cop.
Looks like a gangster. Wrestled in high school.
Yeah, wrestled at Penn State.
Oh, he wrestled at Penn State?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big deal.
And we've lived together for like 8.5 years.
Great guy.
But he's a guy where I'm like, oh yeah, dude, we live in Queens.
But he live with him.
I live in the gym, dude.
Did you guys date? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we're all common law husbands.
But he's a thick kid.
Yeah, he's a big old thick
I didn't know
boy.
he wrestled at Penn State.
Yeah,
And you guys met in New York?
yeah. I mean, we've been friends just through comedy or whatever.
Wait, how'd you get from Denver to New York? Because growing up in Denver, and you can vouch for this, there's like no creative outlet for if you want to be a comic. Or
There's Comedy Works.
There's Comedy Works, but there's no like.
See, my face comes up. That's how common law husband we are. My face comes up when you
There
search.
you are.
That's.
Vecchione.
Yeah.
Wait, I interrupted you. Tell me about.
But I'm saying like Vecchione's a guy where I can constantly check jokes with him, as opposed to if I was by myself and you just had a lot of yes people around you and you're like, hey, does anyone do this joke? He's the one. You got to keep people around you that are kind of like, dude, I hate to say
Of
this.
course.
This
you're
guy
down
does.
you're down at the cellar, right?
Yeah. And so you're just like,
Is there any better place? Is there any better place to incubate?
The Stand.
And get better?
The Stand is up there, man.
Where's that?
In New York. It's in Union Square. The Stand.
Really?
Yeah, man. They kind of came. The Cellar's great, and I love the Cellar. I work in the Cellar, but having the Stand and the Cellar is kind of like having two
both.
gyms
Yeah.
Wow.
where you can go. And Patrick, who books the Stand, what I love about him is he just is open for you to fail. He's like, just go try whatever you want.
Oh,
There's,
wow.
there's
That's
2
cool.
rooms.
I gotta go by.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
I love
They just opened the new one, and it's fucking
Tell you
beautiful.
this right now.
Yeah.
Watch your tone.
Okay. What's going to happen? What are you going to do? Use some of that boxing you've been doing?
Don't you fucking disrespect.